Hi, I'm Pastor Kurt, and this is your 5-minute Bible study. Today, we're going to look at John chapter 11, verses 1 through 44. So there's a lot of text here, but this is a really familiar story to a lot of people. This is the story about the raising of Lazarus. Well, actually, that's only part of the story. That's only the last few verses of this story. We need to pay attention to the whole story to see what's really going on here. It's not just about Lazarus. At the beginning of this chapter, Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha, send word to Jesus that Lazarus is really, really close to dying. They want Jesus to come and help him. They want Jesus' assistance. They want him to stop Lazarus from dying. Jesus gets their message and he waits. He doesn't drop everything and go right away. He waits a couple of days. Then, when he receives word that Lazarus has died, then he goes. That sounds really strange to us. Like, why didn't he just drop everything and go? Well, let's read the rest of the chapter and see. When he arrives, Mary and Martha basically lay into him. They yell at him. If you had been here, our brother would not have died. Pause there for a moment. Not the video, but just your thought process. Sometimes today, people who have a loved one who dies, they react in the same way. Jesus, if you had been here, my loved one wouldn't have died. You could have prevented this. Why weren't you here when I needed you? If you have ever said that or thought that regarding the death of one of your loved ones, it's okay. Jesus can handle it. If you need to yell at him or scream at him, go for it. He can take it. All right? He took it from Mary and Martha. Martha is the first one to yell at him. She says, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Jesus tells her, your brother will rise again. To which Martha says, yeah, I know. He will rise again on the last day. But what we don't hear is, yeah, but what good does that do me now? It's kind of like when you're at the funeral and somebody tries to say something comforting, but it just comes off as really stupid or really mean. It kind of sounds like that's what Jesus did here. But of course he didn't, right? Martha is deep in her grief. And she says, yeah, I know. He'll rise again later on the last day. But she's still so sad that he's gone. To which Jesus says, no, Martha, you misunderstand me. I am the resurrection and the life. Then he says something very important. Do you believe this? Notice that he did not ask, did Lazarus believe this? Jesus is not asking, did Lazarus believe in me? Did Lazarus accept me as his personal Lord and Savior? If so, then I'll raise him from the dead. If not, then he's out of luck. No. Jesus did not ask about Lazarus. He was asking about Martha. Do you, Martha, believe this? Now, why is that? Why is that important? Jesus knows that Lazarus is already in his care. Jesus knows that your loved ones who died are already in his care. He's trying to remind Martha that she is in his care too. Do you believe this, Martha? Do you believe that I am the resurrection and the life? Do you believe that I am here with you in your grief and that I can bring about new life? To which Martha basically says, yes. Then they take him to the tomb. And they tell Jesus, it's been a good few days since he's been in there, and it doesn't smell so good, right? He is dead. Lazarus is dead. Jesus then, of course, calls him out. Says, Lazarus, come out. The dead man came out, wrapped in bands of cloth, and Jesus tells everyone, unbind him and let him go. That part is what we usually focus on, Jesus calling Lazarus out of the grave. But what we need to notice is that the majority of this story is about Jesus being with the sisters in their grief. It is in this story that we hear the famous verse, Jesus wept. Jesus is with them in their grief. Jesus is with you in your grief. And he is still the resurrection and the life. Lazarus is already in his care. Your deceased loved ones are already in his care. Jesus wants to remind you that you are in his care too. There's your 5-minute Bible study. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.